We're going to start with the blue, the light blue, but this blue is going to be too dark.
So we'll mix it with some white.
Yeah. So we'll use this actually, and we'll start with just a little scoop of that blue. Go ahead and put it into this white. Good, just pick it up. Put it in. Good.
Oh, so this will be one color.
So try and keep it in a nice little pile. Let's keep it kind of stirring it.
So what will we be doing today?
We're going to be painting this sunrise for Easter.
Okay, yeah. And so we're going to be doing some of our own choices. We don't have to copy it.
No, you don't have to.
Just something like it.
You can use it as inspiration. So we may have to be mixing some more of this because we're both going to be doing the painting. So one of the things we notice in this painting is that it's lighter blues here, and it's going to get darker and darker and darker blue as we go up. So we want to paint all that blue down first, but we can leave the very bottom just white because of all the orange and yellow we'll be putting on there. So from pretty low up to the top.
Like here. Why are you doing it on a flower painting?
I'm just reusing this whole canvas. And I'm actually going to start by just spreading on that first color just with my palette knife.
Ooh.
And then I can take a little bit of the white.
I'll try that too. It only does a little unless I do it like this.
You can use your brush. Sometimes the palette knife takes a little bit of practice to be able to use it that way.
Because I only got it on the spot front, the top.
Or you can use a little bit more.
I'm drawing on one so I know where I should stop.
Okay. Paper towel for you to.
Here.
Yeah. We may end up needing more of one paint or another as we
Oopsies.
doing this. I'm just scooping. I'm gonna scoop some blue across the top for you. Scoop some for me. And mix a little bit more.
It smells like I'm doing a painting job.
Okay.
Alright, I shouldn't scrub the wall.
Right. Keep it smooth. So there's more of the paint too. So what we want to do is keep our brush strokes, at least the finishing ones, going back and forth, side to side, the long way. That way they'll seem more cloud-like and sky-ish.
I'm sort of swoopy like this one. See?
Well, we want to get the whole canvas painted and covered up. So actually, switch to your bigger brush. You should be using your biggest brush to do this part, because it's really just pretty fast and needing to cover a lot of space.
I'm sort of scraping with this one to get paint off.
I mixed some more of it though, so go ahead and use some more paint. You don't want to scrape it too much.
Maybe that's a bit too
No, that's fine. Mine's just about done, so you can use as much of that as you need.
Ooh, it's mixing.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks just like the picture, except a bit darker at the top.
Good.
I'm keeping on going till I've reached the end of my line. Oh, whoopsies. That I went a little bit over it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So clean off your smaller brush too and dry it off. So you don't want that paint to dry on there. This brush here that you had set aside, you should always wash it off before you just let a brush sit.
Yeah.
And that one too. So both brushes now. And then
We
you can,
shouldn't let it set in the water.
right, just enough to clean it. And then dry it off on the paper towel. Do one at a time, it'll be a little easier. Okay, I'll dry it off for you.
I'm drying in water with a pencil.
Mm-hmm. Good. So now what we'll start to do is some of these clouds here. We'll do some of this purplish and this peachy color. So do you remember how we got the peach kind of color before from our color wheel? What colors are we going to mix to get the peach?
Red and white.
Mm-hmm. And with just red and white, we'll make what?
Pink.
Mm-hmm. So we'll add a little bit of
orange and white.
orange.
Which means,
Yeah.
so let's make an orange.
Mm-hmm. Good. You didn't dry that. Dry it with a paper towel before you get more color because you're starting to mix some of that blue into there. So you have to, you got blue on there because you didn't clean it up. Now remember that the orange is going, or the red is going to be really strong. So this might have been a little too much red. So we'll just clean that off. Take a nice good scoop of that. Good. And then mix that together. Good.
Ooh, I've got a lot.
Yeah, so we're going to try and get as much of that as soon as you need a second one to scrape it.
Okay.
There you go. And then I'm going to clean that off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try and keep our color clean. This is why we did some extra white because I figured we'd end up needing to use it. I'm going to take it from the other side. And now I want to have some orange because we will have orange, but we also have peach. So hang on, let me mix I'm going to mix the peach color.
Oh, that's a ton of white.
Mm-hmm. So what we want to have here, I'm going to mix the peach color. Okay.
Maybe a bit more.
You can mix the orange in a little bit better. No. I mean, mix the orange in that spot. Make the orange more mixed together. So it's because we can still see the swirls of red and yellow. Mix it a little bit tighter. So here's our peach color. Good. Oh, that's perfect.
I need 2 waves.
Mm-hmm. Good. Don't mix that in here. So clean off your palette knife. And we'll also need a little bit of pink. So just take a little dot of red, just a small little scoop, just a bit, and mix it right into this color over here. Good. And this is going to be our light pink color. We'll see how that does because it's probably enough red.
My tip.
Yeah.
Whoa. That
Amazing.
really is really strong.
Mm-hmm.
But blue is stronger.
Yeah, this is a really strong color. Good, so that'll do for some of our pink.
I think it's a bit too pink.
Well, there's a few pinks up in here that we'll need just a little bit of, and we'll have a little bit of these other colors. We also need a little bit of purple.
Okay.
So because the purple though,
And mix them.
yeah, what we'll do is we'll scoop, I'm gonna scoop this over here.
Yeah, you scoop my little bit of pink.
Yep. Now take a little bit, make sure your palette knife is clean off with a paper towel, and take a little bit of red, a little more than you used for the pink, a little bit of red, and mix it into that blue.
That's 2 strong colors.
Mm-hmm. And we're also going to add a little bit of white into it. Mm-hmm. And this is going to give us our purple. Cut it in the middle here. There.
Isn't quite exact the color of purple.
some tint because we've added the white in there, but I think that's gonna work. Is that working pretty nicely for this kind of, hey. Okay, stop it. All right, so is that working pretty nicely though for our picture that we're looking at? It's a good color. Okay, so now we're gonna use that, clean off your
I just did.
perfect. You kind of sometimes have to grab it, make sure the edges are all grabbed too. So you're gonna squeeze it in there to make sure it's all clean.
That's what I do.
Perfect.
Squeeze it and then I pull it out. Oh! How do I do this now?
Good idea. Okay, so switch to this brush again. And now we're gonna paint in some of these clouds. We're gonna start with this purpley cloud that goes from purple to kind of a pinky, peachy, and all these sort of colors in
So we
between
should
there.
mix those together.
So now, well, yeah, what we'll do is we won't mix them together here, we'll mix them together on the palette, or on the painting. So I'm gonna start with some of this purple cloud.
That's a good idea, Mom.
And I'm using some of these little brush strokes.
Oh, that's a good idea, putting some...
Oh, that was an accident. So I'm going to make some cloud brush strokes like this. Pete, take the purple.
Okay.
Make some cloud brush strokes across. So what you want to do is have it be more, see how it got a little bit there? You put your brush in too flat. We want to have it mostly actually be at the tip of your brush. So more of the tip.
So hold it like a pencil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm even going to take a little bit of blue and add that in to make it just a little darker in some places. And I can blend that as I paint. Good. You can go all the way across, or you can just leave it at some places. Wherever you like that to be.
One, very.
Then I'm going to clean off my brush and dry it. I want to make sure that it's not very wet. Unlike watercolor, I need it to actually be dry in between, or at least mostly dry.
Oh, it soaked color through
That's okay.
onto my fingers.
That's
I
all
like that.
I paint.
Look at my thumb.
Yeah.
It's prettier.
Mm-hmm.
I won the contest. Wait, this is the contest.
I'm going to add a little bit of pink and
Okay.
peach that I'm doing next.
Pink.
So that's going to be underneath, because as we go down toward the ground in this painting, the lower part of the painting, remember to use your tip.
I used the wrong brush.
No, that's a perfect brush.
What? It's the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can use the same brush. Really. Because the colors are going to be getting brighter and brighter as we go down, more toward the yellow. So I'm going to be...
Look at my method, Mom. I'm brushing it while turning it a bit.
If you do too much of that, it's going to start to mix with the blue, and it's not going to be peach anymore. Because the blue paint is still wet, which it's fine if it's doing that. There's too many brush strokes and it's starting to mix, then just leave it. When it's dry, you can add on another layer of the peach color.
Put some over the whole thing.
We're thinking about now, because this is a sunrise painting, the sun is very low and it's shining up at the clouds. So the bottoms of the clouds are what's going to be the brightest.
Just a tiny bit.
Mhm.
Down.
I'm going to add some more peach down
I'm
here.
gonna add some more gold leaf.
That'll be very shimmery.
Ooh, it got some green on it. See?
Because it's mixing with the blue.
The blue on the brush.
So if you need to, what I do when that happens to me, and I don't want to make any of those colors,
I
is
do.
you have to.
It's cool.
Okay.
See, it fades down from the green. Goes down, not
If
up.
you don't want to, then you just clean your brush, dry it off, and then keep going. So we have some more oranges here to do. And then I'm doing yellow at the very bottom, just the bright yellow. But before you use the yellow, Peter, make sure that you clean the brush off before you dip it into the yellow paint, or else it'll change the color, because yellow's kind of weak. It'll take up other colors.
The yellow is stronger than white. But black is stronger than blue.
So mostly these areas down low. And if we need more yellow, we can squeeze some more out. So thinking of making sure that the light is hitting the bottom of all of these clouds, it's kind of the direction that we're going. There's a few clouds in our picture that are kind of floating up here that are very light, right? We can see a lot of these white, peachy, pinky. It's not pure white, but it's pretty light up in there. So we can add some of those too. And those are kind of good. Like to do is to try and make it so that the whole canvas is covered with paint, so we don't leave any of the plain canvas left.
Look, I'm mixing some of that. Our second blue with some white and some yellow. And then I'm gonna add a teeny bit of red.
Okay.
To make this pink. See? I just put my arm in the paint. I'm scooping off some from up here on the very top. Some paint.
Good.
And some of the first blue that we got. Orange isn't very strong.
If you mix too many colors together, though, they're going to start to get kind of brownish. Yeah, a little bit too murky. You have to be careful about that.
Great. That's a good pink.
It's kind of a purpley pink.
I do use that too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks when you just drop the ones on, it looks like a circus. Circus colors.
Putting just a few dabs of that here and there. I like that color. It works really well. There's some of these darker little cloud bits that are really thin through there. I think that works nicely. If you want to switch to a smaller brush for some of the small ones, that might be good to finish up this whole blank part of canvas here. I don't know if you want that color with it, but that little brush is going to be good for getting some of these small little cloud areas. Yeah. Use a little bit more of the peach.
I'm picking up some of the other hairs. Just a teeny bit. Wow! What are you guys doing?
We're doing the sunset painting. You like it?
Oh dear, it's raining again. On my bike and 2 more metal things are out. Oh dear. Oh dear. What is happened? Well, I'm using my raster eye paintbrush to push it down a little. That it stays stuck. It's still dry. Can you put some water on this so it'll get lighted again?
It won't. It's not like watercolor. That won't happen. Look that way.
Is it that watercolor?
No, that's watercolor. Okay.
Okay, can you get me some?
Of that same kind?
Yeah. Or can I do it in the next movie?
I'll let you use something. I'm going to add a little bit more of the bright yellows in the middle to help it give the feel of the sunrise getting right there.
This crimson looks good for some of the in-between middle parts.
I think the ones that we have, this red is going to work fine here.
I'm going outside.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell Dad about the present. I'm going to tell him that there's a present in the laundry room.
Okay.
And I also made a little card with those scissors.
Oh, good.
That has a picture in it, and it says, inside, I love you.
So, Peter, you're going to want to make some clouds up at the top too. Make a few a little bit light that have some of the white, and a little bit of the light blue with white in it and stuff. And you can use, if you want to use some of this special, let's see if I can get that to squeeze. I don't think my squeezer works anymore. I'll use a little bit of this. That's a liquid acrylic.
Ooh. There's more water. They don't need water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just like copper leaf.
It's iridescent, kind of sparkly. Mm-hmm.
Putting some on it.
So for some of these, if we wanted the colors to get a little bit stronger, if they're a little bit too see-through, we can add a second layer as it starts to dry more. You can do a little bit more and they'll have a stronger look to them. We want some of these.
Oh, come on. Couldn't I just dip my paintbrush in a teeny bit?
Because it would get it dirty. I can take some out. So I'm going to get a little bit more of these dark clouds in here too.
Thanks.
Some of this other cone.
I'm doing it for like the sun.
Mm.
Because it's so shiny. I want to mix it some with yellow.
What color will it turn into? Yeah, that's not really quite right for our color palette here, what we're doing.
Red would work?
Hmm?
Nah, red would work. It would make purple.
Mm-hmm.
If we mix purple with it, it would turn more purple. Or lighter.
These clouds are pretty wispy on a lot of these areas here. These are kind of fun. Just use the colors that we have here out already. These will work well. Just, you have some more on the palette. You can do more peach in some areas if you think you want to put a little more peach. You're done?
Maybe. I used like the last brush that I used to push down it.
A little bit more.
To make some parts that come out more.
Huh.
See? They're sticking up. Where's that click? Oh look, a stop sign and a road. That's what one of the clouds in the sky in my picture looks like.
Good.
Well, the road also looks sort of like a hamburger with dotted. We might reuse the palette, right?
Once the paint dries, then that's it. You can't reuse it.
Why not put a little water on it?
It dries and it turns into sort of a plasticky.
Ooh, I could use some plastic. We can like make a paint shape.
Okay.
We can do something with it. Or just like that circle. You could paint a circle on the palette and then cut it out and it would look sort of like a donut on a sheet.
Could make a little thing like that. Yeah, just a little bit. Add some kind of broken clouds that are separating a little bit more. So there's different sizes of clouds too, works very well. It's not all just one size.
I'll do some white clouds too. People always think of clouds as just white. Like this.
Those are those fun puffy cumulus clouds, and we do get those sometimes.
Yeah, but they're
That's
more
not-
like this.
They're not quite what's
Not
happening in
just
this
like
picture, huh?
This. No, it's 3 bumps. That one looks more like a window. Sideways, though.
So if we want to have our clouds be less transparent and showing any of the other colors through, then we can do a second layer as it gets dry, especially with any of the yellow. That would be good. As it gets drier and drier it gets, the more we can layer that yellow on top, do a second layer of it, and it'll seem more bright. Actually, I want to do that.
I remember to reach this one. Oh, I forgot. Oopsies.
So some little bits of yellow and stuff. So kind of fun playing around with that a little bit.
I really like my thumb.
It's lovely. Next we'll have to make sure we really, really clean our brushes up.
There's my thumb.
Okay, let's have some fun experimenting.
So I'll smooch some of that. And some of this. These 2 colors.
Okay.
And oopsies, not that one. And then I'll do some ultramarine here. What does it say though? Yes, it was ultramarine. This one is more squishy. I used one of each color and the stripy little pattern.
Okay.
Like a road. I have to follow the blue road. Sort of like a maze. Hey, I made black. Hey, Mom.
When those 2 colors mix
This
together,
and
they
this.
get super dark, huh?
Yeah.
So if you add a little bit of white, you'll be able to tell that it's a purple.
A crimson, red, purple. Maybe a little too much white. Add a bit of red. That one got a bit strong. Some of the yellow. Hey, instead I made a cool green. I'll mix this with this. Good. Some red. Well, I'm not even cleaning off my brush.
This kind of thing, you don't really have to clean off your brush. It isn't really super important.
Right. I'll use that pink. This color. Mom, it's texturing. See?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a cool thing. That's a cool, whatever color it is. I'll just do some plain white. I won't mush it all together at the end. I would not like that. I just really want to do some burnt umber. What's that for pattern? I like it. Okay. I'm mixing some of this there and less of that there. Right. That's cool. Then I'll mix some of that color here with some of this to make a bit of that crimson red. A bit more of the phthalo blue. Ta-da! Now let's use some of the orange I need. Well, that didn't turn out burnt umber looking, but it is a cool green. Here, it's like dark grass green.
Mm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's a cool barbecue color. It looks just like burnt umber, but it isn't.
Mm.
It's sort of like burnt umber.
Yeah. Just a tiny bit.
I'll do a tiny bit of this. mix.
Cool. I like all those greens that
And
you've
then
got.
this is my watercolor. Oh, it's not watercolor. The
Color you want?
Hey, yours is more red.
No, don't. No, stop. You might accidentally do too much of the water.
I'm done.
Okay.
Wait, and look how much towel I have left.
Oh, and you did really well with that.
Look at yours.
I'll use mine more. Good job. Very economical of you.
Now, I'll do it with this one. Which one do you think is better?
Well, they're both very different.
Yeah.
I like
Which one do you think is better? I'm done.